Hey guys, what's up? I'm gonna check if we're live. Yes. Okay, what's up guys? My name is Maddix and I'm gonna explain you my new release Mantra, which has been released last week on Revealed Recordings. So for the people that don't know the track yet, I'll play it first. We let people tune in, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Alright, so as you can see, the project file is really big, and actually my computer struggles with it sometimes, so I hope it works fine right now. So the idea for the track started with like I really enjoy the psytrance music, and I wanted to get like the psytrance feel, but in EDM format, so just 130 BPM. So that's how the idea started. So I started with the vocal sample that you can hear. Actually, the original one is a bit higher pitched. So I pitched it down, put on some EQs and compression. Let me check. It's on there. This is Noveltech Character. This plugin is great on vocals as well, and it, because I pitched the vocal down by like 6 semitones, this plugin adds a bit high frequencies back into the vocal. And then a vocal compressor, another compressor from Waves here, and reverb, and that's how like the basic idea for the track started. So to keep the vocal, like to keep the track organic, I was looking for a bass sound that's also from a vocal, and I found this. Let me enable it. Not sure if you guys can hear it. And this is actually this guy singing it. It's Tuvan male drone sound. And like together with the vocal, this was just working perfectly already. So this way, like, you have a lot of organic sounds in the break. And of course I added a sub layer. So I use silent a lot for the sub. And this is a really basic sound, 4 voices, sawtooth, detune, and that's basically it, and a cutoff. So when you use a sub bass with detune, always be sure to add a compressor. As you can see here, because like the waveforms of the sub, because you have 4 waveforms, they go and interfere with each other. So if you add compression, it all smooths down. And you can see it in meter here. It goes up and down, and now it actually sounds like one long bass note instead of fluctuating a lot. So then I added some chords, some strings. You can see the MIDI notes. Actually, I just took the bass line and added simple chords on that. It doesn't look simple, I know, but it's just like easy chords. And there's another string layer here. There's nothing really special happening, only this automation is doing the filter cutoff, so it's coming in slowly. And then there's this pad that disables the effects. This is the original sound, but I used LFO tool, really fast arpeggiator. And then of course EQ, and oh, actually this is disabled, so it doesn't do anything. So together you have this Indian sounding breakdown. So the first break is really short, and I go immediately into the build-up. Actually, you can hear some reverses and risers already immediately. So what you hear is the vocal is looping over here. And pitching up, and it's a new feature in the latest FL. It's really cool. If you have a sample, you can put the mode on stretch, and then if you use this pitch bend knob to pitch it up or down, the sample length over here stays the same. People using FL will know that before that the sample would just be shorter and stuff. Right now they fixed it, so you can just use a normal pitch bend in FL, and it works great. So on top of that, like, all the sounds from the break are still there, filtering away, and just on the root notes. And of course we have the snares. So this is a cashmere snare with just some Valhalla reverb on it. Pretty simple. And the second one is MIDI. Oh. And as you can see, I used a lot of volume down here, like MIDI note volume, to keep it a bit of an organic groove as well. This one is pitching up immediately. And then as another like groove layer, we have hi-hats, just in 16th notes, pitching up as well. Down here, all my effects, just basic risers and uplifters. And a trick I use for them is, like if I layer these two are the long ones, one of them is panning from left to right non-stop. Obviously you guys cannot hear it, but it's like hard panned left and right, and the second one is just in the center, normal. And together they give this really big sound because you pan it. So what's there as well? This is the lead from the second break that's just used as a rising effect. I'll explain the lead later. And then that's basically it for the build-up. Oh wait, one thing, the kick drum. I use it a lot. Just grab your kick drum from the drop, make it a little bit shorter, like this, and then use it as well, and like layer it below your snare, because your snare will get a lot more punch, and actually in the club it will feel a little better, I think. One more thing, on top you see these automations. I use a high pass and reverb on the master, so all the low frequencies slowly get filtered out, and this is the reverb that gets added. So onto the drop. So for the drop, it is this typical psytrance feel. What you need for that is a really punchy kick. So I grabbed the kick from Cashmere, Cashmere's pack, but it actually wasn't that punchy enough. So what I did, not sure if you guys know this. This is Isotope RX, and actually I just like drag the kick in there and select it all and go to time and pitch over here. And what you can do, you can set a pitch contour, and actually it's like this is the whole length of the kick, and you can edit the pitch based on time. So I wanted more punch, more like higher punch, so I just put up this line so the first small part of the kick has more higher punch, which made it perfect for me then. And of course you have to trial and error for your specific project file. So that's how I edited the kick. And then we have the bass lines. So actually I've been trying and struggling a lot with the bass line in this project. And I've replaced it a few times. Actually this is a sample from some pack. And here we have a synth layer on top of it. So this synth is Avenger. It's a synth by Vengeance, and it's like I use it in every single project right now. And actually this is some Psy preset. And I use the high end from this layer. So as you can see here in the EQ, like all the low frequencies are cut out. And it's just just the high end. And that together with the sample. The sample is doing the low end. I boosted it a lot on the root notes over here to give it more of a more low ends. Oh, please don't crash. Oh no. 1 second, guys, it's hanging. I think it just crashed, so we'll have to reopen the project file. In the meantime, I'll play the track for you guys. So 1 second, it has crashed. Let me reopen it. So what I was trying to explain with the bass lines is I use one bass line mono with the sub in the center, and the second bass line is much wider with the high end. And they both work together really well, but it was a real struggle to get them right. Okay, we're opening it. Are there any questions in the meantime? Yo guys. Yes, it crashed. If you have any questions, you can ask it now. I'll answer it. Like, it rarely happens that a project crashes for me, but this one is has been a struggle lately because I changed so many things in the track. And yes, I use autosave as well. That's a good one. The pre-drop vocal, I'll explain it later. I'll show you guys. Okay, wait, the project is back up. So let's go. So I was explaining the drop bass. Hopefully yes, it works. So this is the deeper bass. This is second EQ with a lot of boost in the low end. And I used BX control to make it mono with this button. As I told you, the second one has all the low end cut out, and it is an imager from Isotope to make the sound wide. And then together, those two are the bass line in the track. And as you can see, I actually, like, the notes are a bit shorter. So like just before the next note hits, it's a little bit of silence, so you actually feel the rolling bass really well. So onto the leads. I use 3 different leads here. Let me enable everything. So the first lead is from Serum. Actually, pretty simple setup, and I think you guys know Serum. Like, all the leads you hear is just one layer, but then after each other. So the second sound is this one. I think it's Spire, yeah. It's just a preset I found. So for the processing, I use this plugin from Sick Individuals. Let me play it without. So this is the preset, and this is the sound with the processing. So I use this new plugin from Sick Individuals, and the pulse is really cool on this one because it goes together with the bass line, and it's actually the same as the trick I used with LFO tool. So it's a like arpeggiator effect. I then still use Camel Crusher a lot for distortion and compression. Of course, EQ, always cut out your low end. I felt this one needed a bit more high end. I used Trash from Isotope for mainly the distortion, and it's really cool. Like, this is the filter. I really like the workflow of Trash because you have a filter, then the distortion module, and then another filter. And yeah, it's way easier than like putting all different plugins after each other. Let me check. There's imagers as well on the leads. And that's basically it for this lead. And the third lead is this one. And that's actually just a sample that I put on some effects. For example, again, the Focus 1 by Sick Individuals with the pulse effect and some winding and boost. So those three are playing, and they all have a really big reverb. I use Arts Acoustic Reverb. 5 seconds decay time. It's really long. What I did here, you see all these automation clips are the 3 leads, but the volume of them after the reverb. So what's happening? So when lead 1 starts playing, this is the lead, and here you see the automation, like the volume is opening up just before the lead starts playing. Then it stays on the same level until the second lead starts, and then all the volume is going down. So what it means is every synth has its own really big reverb, but the reverb stops when the next sound hits. And this means that your drop will be much cleaner. Otherwise, all the reverbs will be continuously playing. So you can actually hear it if I just play like, you hear it stopping over here. And that's exactly the moment when the second one comes in. So when the second one is playing, you actually don't notice the first one stopping. So that's a cool little trick to make your drop a bit cleaner. So next I did a lot of reverses. So that's just review or like reversed reverbs of the synths. This is another synth, and it's Avenger again. Yeah, you guys should check this synth out. It's really cool. And actually, I used the preset for this. So another big part of the drop is these hardstyle kicks that are layered on some of the kicks. So if I let me enable the kick and bass. So when the leads are not playing, the hardstyle kick is playing, and of course the low end is cut away really heavily, so it doesn't interfere with the bass line, doesn't interfere with the kick. And also we have this, you can barely hear it. It's a sample that says "huh," and I put it in key and also layered it on top of the hardstyle. kick here. So to give the track some atmosphere in the drop, I used this crowd sample from Vengeance actually. But I automated the volume over here. And I really want this effect that you get sucked into the drop, like just before here with the reverses. So that's why you hear this crowd. Another kick again at the bass line. So those are some of the effects, and I think that's it for the drop. Just have the second part as a really hi-hat loop, nothing really special, and a ride sample, and of course a synth. So for the leads, wait, let me show you. This is the pitch bend for the leads. Like for example, this is the pitch bend for this lead. So it goes from -12 to 0 to I think about 6 or 7, and then back to -12. So here we have some fills, it's a snare, and I think some serum patches. Actually, no processing at all. And this one is Harmor from Image Line. It's really cool synth. Actually, I just was scrolling through presets for these fills. Just cut out a little bit of the low end. And the last one. Also serum. So then we go back into the break with some effects, a small hardstyle kick here. That it goes to a really big reverb. And actually, the second break, same sounds it starts with, like the male vocal stuff, the bass, the chords, the vocal with the pulse from Focus One, the Sick Individuals plugin, and filtered. And then I found this plug and started playing like the melody that the vocal is singing. So that's this. That's just like following the vocal melody. And what I did after that is select it all and just make it twice as fast. And that became like the start of this part of the break, because here so basically like the whole break is like based on the vocal stuff, but I just multiplied the speed of the melody. So quickly, let me show you the bass line. It's the same bass line, just a different sound from silent. I added these big room chords it's also Avenger. And the break leads, like you see, the melody is really simple, but it's just, it felt good to give it the same, to stay in the same vibe. So for the break leads I used Nexus, I think. This is a really basic saw sound, and then enabling the plugins. So actually in this time I was beta testing the Focus One from Sick Individuals, so that's why I'm using it like a lot, and I used it, it works great. Really aggressive widening here. Some more EQing. And I tend to use the same reverb on every single thing that needs this kind of reverb, but if you use a lot of the same reverb, it starts gluing together much better. This is a vocal lead, hardly any processing, and the last one, it's really distorted with the Camel Crusher. And then I use the stereo shaper, so different widening. And if you use different widening techniques, it's better. Like you get this, the sound will be wider because it's using a different technique. So if you use the same technique always, try to mix it up a little bit. And then there's some claps from the revealed packs. Not sure if you guys have checked it out, but it's pretty cool. They release new packs every week. So here the melody changes to a bit more uplifting one. And it's the same synth sounds, just with one new layer. But I changed the melody because I felt it was more uplifting and a little change in the track. So what else is there? A small, I call it Avicii riser. It's just 16ths in silent, really simple. With a triangle and a little pitch of on the envelope here. So the bass line changes to this long notes. Like here they go on with the melody, and then when the kicks come in, and I add a new layer, like a really wide mid layer bass. And this one is actually like the low end is cut off. And actually this is a really simple bass. It's just one saw, two voices with detune, and that's it. And then just some equalizing. So let me check, that's basically it. There's of course a few effects like this falling noise stuff. And then we go into the second build-up, which is basically like just a longer version of build-up number one. Now the computer starts lagging. So it's just the same as build-up one almost, just a few more sounds that are there from the break. And then the second drop, we have a new layer with noise, just plain white noise basically. A little bit of EQ on the sample, and the stereo shaper from FL Studio to make it really wide, so it delays the right signal, so it sounds much more wide. And actually this is also a revealed sample, I see. And the second layer is this heavy super sound Hoover, or super saw Hoover, with a lot of reverb and some simple EQ. But this super saw Hoover like adds so much tension to the drop. Like. So let me think. Oh wait, we have the pre-drop stuff. The vocal. Let me check. So it says bring the beat back, and actually what you can see here, this is all stuff, pre-drop vocal stuff I tried here as well. More. It's crazy. I've been like trying a lot of different vocals and stuff, and ended up with this one. So this, that's the real sample. And I just cut out some parts. I pitched it with Little Alto Boy, which is a pretty cool plugin for vocals pitching. And I switched the formant up as well, so it sounds higher pitched. And then there's some Camel Crusher on top. Dimension expander on the vocal works really well. If you want a bathroom type reverb effect. A delay, and I use a Valhalla room and a H delay. Actually pretty simple processing on the vocal this time. So and this last automation here is to make sure like none of the reverb continue playing when the drop hits. So and as you can hear, this has some reverses. And I just let the volume rise of the bring. And I think that's basically it. So if you guys have some questions, like ask them now. So which synth plugin is the best? There is none the best. I use Silent, Spire, Serum, Nexus and Avenger a lot. So basically try out those. The favorite sample packs, I use Vengeance, Cashmere. The new revealed packs are really good. Let me check. And then I try to collect some like random sample packs, because you can get inspired by these like weird sounds or sounds you don't really use. Can you say my name, please? Nema Alma Food. So this video will be online. So I'm not gonna repeat the part of the side bassline, but the video will still be online afterwards, so you can rewatch it. The mix change on my saws, like in the break, or do you ever use Contact? Yes, I do actually. I think it's pretty cool, but it depends on the track. I use it for strings, piano. I have some vocal packs in there as well. What sample pack do you use for the vocals? That's different ones. it's really difficult to find because I'm out of vocals all the time. Like the sauce from the break. Okay, that's the last thing I'm gonna explain. Let me check. The super sauce in the break. I'll show you. The processing is actually really simple. This is the EQ. And that's basically it, just the reverb as well. And the second layer. But I think it's because the patch in Avenger is really cool. You have this FM knob with the random. And as you can see, like the wave is, the saw wave is moving automatically already, which gives the impression of like an analog synth, like the virus of stuff. And that makes the sound much bigger. So this is basically just the sound out of Avenger. Okay. Guys, thank you for watching. I'm gonna sign off. I hope you learned something and enjoyed it. So be sure to check out Mantra, support it, buy it on Beatport, let us get in the charts. And hope to see you next time. Goodbye.